In the dark corridors of ancient Rome, whispers of madness echoed through marble halls. Senators mocked, soldiers sent on absurd missions, and palaces turned into dens of excess. Stories tell of seashells collected as spoils of war, a horse raised to the rank of senator, and nights of unrestrained debauchery. This was not just politics or power. This was chaos at the very heart of an empire. (12 A.D.) In the very heart of Rome, a child is born. His name, Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus. But the soldiers who adored him gave him a nickname, Caligula, the Little Boot. No one could imagine that this boy would one day become one of the most infamous rulers in Roman history, remembered forever as the Mad Emperor. From the very beginning, his world was filled with darkness. He grew up surrounded by betrayal, exile, and brutal executions. As a child, he watched his relatives tortured and killed. Violence, for him, became part of everyday life. The year is 37 A.D. With the death of Emperor Tiberius, Caligula ascends the throne. At first, the Roman people rejoice. The son of Germanicus has come to power, a young, charismatic leader, a new hope. But their joy would not last long. Very soon, hope turned to horror. The first signs seemed harmless. He forced those around him to shave their heads, making sure no one looked taller than him. But this was only the beginning. He ordered the heads of Roman gods to be removed from their statues and replaced with his own likeness. Soon after, he declared himself a living god. He demanded sacrifices as if he were divine. His depravity knew no limits. He took his own sister as a lover. When she became pregnant, he had the unborn child cut from her womb. And when she died, Caligula forced all of Rome into mourning. No laughter, no bathing, no family meals, not even speaking in the streets. And yet, he crowned himself with grand titles: Father of the Army, Greatest of Leaders, Chosen of the Gods. Titles all invented by himself. For Caligula, human life had no value. To meet his gaze was to receive a death sentence. He designed instruments of torture, tearing organs from living bodies. He watched with delight, sometimes during his meals, sometimes even tasting the flesh. His reckless spending emptied the Roman treasury. To refill it, he executed the wealthy and seized their property. Still unsatisfied, he forced the wives and daughters of senators to work in a state-run brothel. At the opening, he addressed the crowd. "People of Rome, your God has brought you gifts. The families of your senators are now yours." His hatred for the Senate was boundless. His closest companion was not a man, but his horse, Incitatus. He built the animal a palace, promised it a consulship, and, according to historians, sometimes even slept beside it. He humiliated senators, forcing them to dress as women and dance. Others he had killed, then summoned to meetings as if they were still alive. Caligula loved gladiatorial games, but instead of professional fighters, he sent the old, the sick, and the disabled into the arena. Dwarfs were forced to battle each other. Exotic animals were unleashed upon innocent prisoners because, in his words, slaves cost less than feed for the beasts. Above all, Caligula feared one thing: to be forgotten. Previous emperors were remembered for great disasters, wars, or catastrophes. He prayed for such calamities in his reign, longing for infamy. He even declared war on the sea god Neptune. On the shores of Gaul, he ordered his soldiers to gather seashells as spoils of war. When a general known for his honesty stood before him, Caligula declared, "You are too honest, therefore you cannot be a true Roman," and he had him arrested for treason. At night, Caligula disguised himself in women's clothing, sang in the streets, and danced in grotesque parades. In the palace, his feasts turned into orgies of cruelty and humiliation. Some accounts even claim he forced acts of cannibalism. But Rome's patience was running out. January 41 AD. After a public spectacle, Caligula walked through the palace tunnels. A group of guards attacked. He was struck more than 30 times. His body was hacked to pieces, parts thrown to dogs. His wife and daughter were murdered beside him. In the aftermath, the Senate tried to erase his name from history. His statues were destroyed, his memory condemned. But Caligula was never forgotten. Instead, his legacy lived on in books, in films, and in the imagination of all who fear the madness of unchecked power. Today, historians suspect he may have suffered from epilepsy, paranoia, or schizophrenia. Yet no illness alone can explain the horrors he unleashed. Caligula remains to this day not just a Roman emperor, but the embodiment of cruelty, depravity, and the terrifying corruption of absolute power. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with new uploads.